Turn your great idea into a reality with Squarespace. They make it easier than ever to launch your passion project, whether you're showcasing your work or selling products of any kind. They have beautiful templates and the ability to customize just about anything. You can easily make a beautiful website by yourself, but if you get stuck, Squarespace's 24/7 award-winning customer support is there to help. Head to squarespace.com/grace for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Not too deep.
Welcome to another episode of Not Too Deep. I'm your host, Grace Helbig. Today we have Dan Levy on the podcast, not the guy from Schitt's Creek, not the composers, not the son of Eugene Levy. It's Dan Levy. You might know him from his MTV VJing days. You might know him from his college Naca Tours. You might know him as the creator and executive producer of the new show, Indebted, starring Fran Drescher, Adam Pally, amongst other amazing cast members. We talk a lot about his obsession with HGTV. We talk a lot about the college shows that he blew the most at, and some of his successes along the way, and what it's like to be a parent. Also, I learned a lot about spider bites. It's a very informative episode all across the board. So enjoy this episode of Not Too Deep with Dan Levy.
Not too deep. Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
We're rolling. We're going. Were you on Jeopardy last year?
No.
You weren't.
No.
It's on your IMDb.
It is?
Yeah, it says on your IMDb,
All
where is
right.
it? Under self-credits,
Okay.
Jeopardy, himself, contestant.
I can't.
All right,
No.
well, I'm going to email Mr. IMDb and
There's so many.
cause a complaint.
There's so many Dan Levys. You know, there's there's that guy. Then there's a podcaster. There's two composers. A composer's got nominated for Oscar. There's Dan Levy, creator of Schitt's Creek. I mean, there's so many of us out there.
Have you guys created a support group?
We have a
Do you
Dan
guys
Levy.
meet on Wednesdays?
We meet on Wednesdays. We're like, you know what? How is it going for you, Dan Levy? How's it going for you, Dan Levy? How about you, Dan Levy? And we all get together.
Very fun.
Yes.
You guys all just commiserate about the highs and lows of who got confused for who this week.
Exactly.
That's very sweet. So, okay, I want first, congratulations, Indebted.
Thank you so much.
Very cool. How much you just wrapped, right?
Yeah, we wrapped December 20th, so we've
Okay.
been editing since then.
Okay, and it premieres in February.
February 6th, after Will and Grace.
That's very exciting.
I know, I can't believe it.
So how did this all come about? And for those that don't know, can you give us the premise of this?
Yes, the premise is essentially when baby boomers go broke and move back in with their kids who have kids of their own.
Yes.
So it's loosely based on my life.
Okay.
My parents are baby boomers who were not super financially responsible.
Okay.
They don't live with me technically, but they visit me 45 times a year and are waiting for me to give them the keys.
Gotcha. So they haven't had the keys yet. That's your boundary.
That's my one boundary.
Yeah. So you wrote this, you created the show.
Yes, I created the show.
Okay. Did you have to get any permission from your parents to write something that's semi-autobiographical?
Yes, I asked them and they said, "Of course, let's do it." And they love it. My parents are all in. They are they are loving it. Yes.
That's very sweet. And the cast is incredible.
The cast is insane. Fran Drescher plays a version of my mom.
I secretly wish she played every character,
She
like Nutty
is-
Professor style, but
I mean, she's an icon. She's amazing. She's incredible. She's a great
she
person.
seems very lovely.
She's lovely. She's likable. She's everything you want her to be.
Yeah.
And then Adam Pally, who is super fucking funny.
Yeah.
Abby Elliott, amazing.
Great.
Very funny. Jesse Hodges, also hilarious. And of
So
course,
great.
Stephen Weber. So, you know, it's
collect
an
them all.
amazing cast.
That's so awesome. How was the shooting process?
The shooting process was great. I mean, it's intense because it's a multi-camera, so it's in front of a live audience.
Right. So you're basically doing, like, for people that don't know, when you do multi-camera, isn't it like doing like a play, basically?
Yeah. It's like doing a play. It's like almost similar to like SNL, where, you know, every Friday night we are filming in front of a live audience. So we have the whole week to get it ready. And what happens is on Monday you do a table read and then you get notes and you rewrite it. And then Tuesday you do a rehearsal in front of the producers, the writers, and the studio. We get notes, we rewrite it.
Okay.
Then Wednesday the network comes, we get notes again, we rewrite it. Then Thursday we start shooting pre-shoots, which means is you essentially shoot like the scenes that you can't do in front of an audience, whether it's like a car scene or an outside scene. And then Friday they rehearse and then we shoot it live.
Wow.
So it's a really intense process because normally like on other single cameras shows I've worked on, like the Goldbergs, you basically are writing the show, and then you do a table read on Monday, and then you have the whole week to rewrite it, and then you shoot it. So you don't even really see the actors as much. But you know what's kind of cool about a multicam is it really becomes like a family because we're with these people every single day.
Yeah, you're really in an incubator for this.
And the writers are with each other every single night till late hours.
Wow.
So it's intense, but it's really fun. And you know, my background is stand-up, so doing a live comedy show in front of the audience is so fun because then we change it on the floor. You know, so if we want to change jokes,
so you're just constantly tweaking it basically up until the very last moment.
Yeah, just until we're in take after take, we'll be like, now say this. And luckily the cast has such amazing improv skills, and you know, Fran and Steven worked on, you know, collectively I think like 360 multicam episodes just between Wings and the Nanny. Yeah. So everyone was great, and we made a lot of changes on the floor.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's it like shooting in front of a live audience? Because this is the first season of the show, so they don't know what they're about to watch. They're not totally invested in these characters yet, so they're just kind of going in a little blind, I assume. Yeah,
well, what we do in front of a live audience is we always play the pilot, and we also play a video of my actual parents.
Oh, really? Just to give them some context?
Yeah, answering questions about their life and about how much they love me. So that's like a really big part of the show is how obsessed my mom is with me, no matter what.
Do you have siblings?
I do.
Okay,
and,
but they don't really matter as much as you.
I have a brother, but even my brother's wife was like, my takeaway of your family is your mom is obsessed with you. But it's only because I'm nicer to my mom than my brother.
Yeah, you show her more attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you celebrate and glorify her legacy in your art.
Yeah, exactly. But my mom just makes everything about me, and it's always like very positive, and that's sort of what the show is. Like it's a very sort of like positive, like, you know, comedy where these people are in a bad situation, yet they are so confident and positive with their life that like it doesn't really bother them the way it should. Like most people would spiral into depression, but like we do a whole episode about how, you know, Adam's character and Abby's character and Jesse are sort of obsessed with social media like we all are.
Right.
Where you're always looking at other people's lives and judging them and wishing that you were in there on their vacation or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we do a whole episode where Fran's like, I don't understand why you care.
Yeah.
And like, but don't you ever want to be where other people are? And she's like, no, because wherever I am, it's the best.
Wow.
And that's sort of what like,
that's what's that like?
What is that like? Because she even says there's a line, something like, I forget the exact line, but it was like, Mom, Fran says like, why are you liking other people's things and caring what people are doing? And then Adam's like, because that's what people do, Mom.
We have been programmed to care
other people's thing. It's like,
gosh, but what a refreshing point of view for her to have.
Exactly.
Do you, as yourself, get into social media? You don't tweet.
I don't tweet because here's the thing. I love Instagram.
Oh, you love Instagram?
I love Instagram stories at Dan Levy Show. Yeah. But I like Twitter, you know, back in the day when it was jokes.
But you got out, which I'm like, kudos to you.
I took off my phone.
Good for you.
Because basically what was happening is every time I actually like seeing people on vacation, like that kind of stuff. Instagram to me is fun because it's more like, look at my life. Yeah. This is the good things.
It's a little, it's, I like to try and think of it as like positive voyeurism.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think it is. Where Twitter is just like, fuck everything. And it's just like, oh my God. Every time I go on Twitter, it was like murder, Trump. I'm like, I can't deal with all of this.
Begging you to bring some of your like positive optimism so it can just fucking flatten you out.
I know. Every time I go on Twitter, I'm like, I go on trending. I'm like, please no one. I hope there's no tragedy. No. It's just, it's. I can't deal. So I think though, I thought it'd be funny to go back on Twitter like next week and be like, I'm on Twitter just because I'm promoting my show.
Yeah, just basically it's like opening a closet, throwing something into it, and then closing the door before anything comes back out.
It's too crazy.
But you like Instagram.
Love Instagram.
Who do you follow? Do you have like guilty pleasure follows? Like,
oh, I'm currently following old Jewish men.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's your genre?
Yes. And I follow like upscale hype, you know, a lot of basketball players' wardrobe, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay. There's a spectrum there of stuff. So, okay, now you're in post-production for the show.
Yes.
Now, what's this like? You're basically in like a weird purgatory before it like actually comes out, right?
Yeah, it's very weird because I went from like being surrounded by like 500 people every day, all day long,
Yeah.
just like a million questions constantly, to then everyone, it's over except for me and the editor. So now it's just like me and the editor and just sort of cutting the show and,
You're just like in your little isolation chamber.
Yeah, we had the TCAs last week. I go to New York this week. I'm doing fun podcasts like this now.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just a weird zone to be in.
Jeez, but that's very exciting because now you have like an actual product that comes out and goes on television.
Yes.
Your parents are part of it. It's like
It's a whole thing.
all in
And
the
my
family.
wife too.
Your wife?
Yeah, my wife writes on the show. And,
Amazing.
And the character's based on our relationship too. So
Yeah. How long have you guys been together?
almost 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you have 2 kids?
2 kids.
2 kids.
Yes.
And so it feels like you write a lot of from like your personal life.
Yes, exactly.
Do the kids understand what you do?
Oh yeah.
They
now,
do.
Now they do.
Because
Like
how old are they?
7 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So now they do. Like they come to set and they know that
Oh,
there's
cool.
like little kids who play versions of them.
Oh,
on
really?
the show. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What a mind fuck for them a little bit.
I know. And they're like, it's not really our names. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But no, but it is weird because I grew up in Stamford, Connecticut, with like no show business background at all. Like my dad is
Yeah.
as seen on TV, I was a salesman, and my mom was like, in education. So for my kids to grow up like knowing about like the sets and being like, let's
Yeah.
go to the Stage 23 and see the Goldberg sets. It's such a bizarre way to grow
Such
up.
a foreign thing from how you grew up.
Yeah, I know.
So how do you have any rules or regulations with your kids in terms of like how much they're allowed to indulge in social media or the entertainment industry? Like, do they come to you and say they want to act or write or be anywhere involved in this world?
Well, my son wants to be a magician.
Okay.
So
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and
They're trendy again.
They're cool. One of my really good friends and old roommate is Justin Willman, Magic for Humans.
Yeah.
So, he's hung out with him a lot. He was
cool.
actually he did magic on his show.
Oh.
But yeah, like I wouldn't want them necessarily to be like child actors just
Right.
because it's hard.
It's
and
intense.
honestly, running a show and having kids on the show, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's just hard it's just very hard.
Yeah. And it's kind of, it's probably refreshing for them to do something outside of this world. Because you're like,
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be in this.
Yeah, exactly. It's not great.
Yeah. Do you have boundaries in terms of how much of your personal life you bring into the writing and creating and content side of stuff?
Not really.
Okay.
I feel like I just write.
Cool to know.
Cool to know. Yeah, I pretty much just write whatever is funny about my life. So it's really,
That's great.
it's been that way since I was like,
Write what you know.
write what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get started? If your parents were, more traditional East Coast jobs or whatever, how did you get started in like entertainment and comedy?
When I was 9,
Mm-hmm.
I started doing improv at a place called Curtain Call.
9.
I know someone. I did see someone did tweet that said,
Yeah,
"Ask
yeah.
about Curtain Call."
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there's a theater company in Stamford, Connecticut called Curtain Call, and
Okay.
I was a really sort of like. I don't know what was going on when I was like in 4th grade, but I was I had a lot of.
You were going through some stuff.
I was going through some shit. I had didn't have a lot of confidence. I had
Yeah.
low self-esteem. I just, it was one of those things where I remember like. My mom was like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I was like, "Everyone likes Genesis, so I want Genesis." And then I got it, and I was like, "I fucking hate Genesis.
This is
I
not
hate
fulfilling."
video games." So like, I didn't like video games. I didn't like sports, so I didn't really know what to do. And in Connecticut, that's really your options.
Yeah.
So I'd like play in the woods, and then and then after the woods got boring, my mom would be like, "Well, this weird." Thing opened up called improv. Do that. So I started doing improv when I was like 9, and then it was
Wow.
like I kind of like found my people.
Yeah.
And basically just did like, drama club and all that stuff. And I was in a comedy troupe called the Half Pint Players at Curtain Call.
Cute.
And we would go into New York, and it was just like,
Oh, that's fun.
and then basically I knew from then that I wanted to like just do stand up. I was obsessed with A&E, the improv. I was obsessed with
Wow.
Caroline's Comedy Hour, in Living Color, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was just wanted it so bad. So when I went to school in Boston,
Mhm.
day one, I was like just hitting open mics, and I basically just did stand up like
Wow.
all through it, and then started touring once I left Boston and then came to LA, and then
Wow.
yeah.
So you knew. Kudos to your mom for suggesting that place at such a young age.
Yeah, I just was very sort of focused, and then that was really all I did. Like I graduated, I did these things called Naca Tours, you know, Naca.
Yes, I've heard of, for people that don't know Naca, my understanding of it, it's basically like a convention of sorts where you go and pimp yourself out as like a comedian, and colleges can hire you based on their like student funds or something.
It's like a trade show. So you basically go and you like go, I mean, when I was doing it, you know, I was like 22 or something when I was doing those, and I'd come out and be like, SAT suck!
They'd be like, he gets us!
He gets us! And then they like then they come like shake your hand and hug you and they book you. And then
that's so, but isn't it like it's college students that are booking you,
It's college students who are booking you, and it's their funds, and it's
Wow.
honestly like the best way to make a living when you're up and coming comedian, because
it pays pretty well,
pays
right?
really well, and you know, at that time your expenses are like sneakers.
Yeah.
So
and they're like traveling you, right?
oh yeah, so you would just, you know, so I did, I mean, I like hit like 1 million miles on American Airlines by the time I was like 28 or something.
Do you have any memories of colleges that stood out to perform at, for better or worse?
Oh, well, I did Gator Growl at University of Florida, which was that huge show.
I've heard nightmares about this show.
Well, it was actually awesome.
Okay.
Because it was a great show. I think it was Kevin Hart, Aziz Ansari, me.
Oh, cool.
And it was this giant stadium. This was a long time ago.
And it's Florida.
It's Florida, and Florida goes crazy. And you basically come out and you're like, fuck Florida State. And they're like, ah!
And that's half of your act is done already.
Yeah, and then it's such a gigantic like arena that it takes forever to go through jokes, because there's like applause and screaming. So it was like so ridiculous. So that was super fun. And then I did so many terrible colleges. There was a college I did, I think the Southeast Naca, which is like the southeast of America.
Yeah.
And like the Florida, the South Carolina, all those places.
Yeah.
And I did a show at a college called High Point.
High Point.
High Point.
Okay.
And I remember I was with my friend Danielle, and she drove me, and I was like, this is the low point of my comedy career, because it was
how ironic.
It was the show was like fine, but afterwards I forget the guy's name. He had this terrible name, and he was this awful person, and he was like, we don't like the comedy, and I was like, what?
I just came up to you and said this.
Yeah, and he was like in charge of the students. He was one of those weird jobs where like he was in charge of the students who were in charge of the money. He was like, what was his name?
And
his
you're
name
like,
was
who gave you this job? Like, how did you get this position?
Yeah, his name wasn't Skull, but like it kind of was something like that. And he was like, we don't like. And then I remember getting a call from my college agent who was like, they don't want to pay you. I was like, High Point has to pay me. What'd I do? Like, he was not good. It was just
you didn't make Skull laugh, and so they withheld your funds.
Yeah. And then another terrible show was Kuka College, which is upstate New York.
That's not real.
It's real. Kuka. I hit all the big colleges. Kuka College. And it was so far and so cold. I used to like fly to New York and take my parents' car and drive all the way upstate New York to these shows.
Yeah.
And I was late because it was in fucking Kuka, New York. And they're like, where are you? And I was like, where are you? You're too far away.
I don't know. Maybe I'm in Narnia. I don't know where this is.
And then I got there, like, I was very late to the show. And there was only like 3 people there. And they're like, you're not getting paid. I was like, what is with these fucking colleges?
I need gas money right now.
You need to pay me. Pay me to leave Kuka.
Do you do any colleges now?
I don't do any colleges now.
Would you ever?
I would, yeah. I think so. It's harder to relate now. Like, it was a really interesting transition because I was doing a lot of colleges, and I started doing a lot of like comedy clubs, and sort of like just doing more of that stuff. And then it was actually like it was a year that I was like a very long time ago when Whitney Cummings had a sitcom, and I was like working on her show, and it was hiatus, and someone called me like, hey, do you want to do this show at this college? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And I went there, and it was supposed to be Crystal Lee was supposed to perform, and he pulled out. So they're like, send the guy who writes for the show. And the audience was like, what the fuck? And then I got there, and I remember like looking at the crowd and being like, oh my God, these kids are babies.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, my wife's pregnant. And they're like, boom! Talk about Jaeger. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's very, very difficult. I just keep seeing the words TikTok everywhere.
Yeah.
Have you gotten into that? Are your kids into that? Are they TikTok stars yet?
No, I mean, they're too young to even be on. The only thing I've done well as a parent is like, we don't let them look at the iPad.
That's
like
good.
The
Good
only
for you.
thing. Everything else has been fucked.
Yeah.
But that is the one thing that we're like, so he's honestly, he likes to like do the snap filters sometimes on the phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But no, I haven't gotten TikTok. Should I, or am I too old?
I don't even know how. I opened it and I got really scared of it. Like it was a visceral reaction. I felt such empathy for my parents opening YouTube for the first time,
Right.
and what it must have been like for them to try and navigate it and understand why it exists in any way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it just made me feel my age, which not necessarily the best thing.
What is it? Just I'm not joking. Is it just lip syncing to songs?
I've had many people try to explain it to me. I've heard that there's a whole genre of like Midwestern moms complaining about things, which I've heard is
could get into
fascinating.
that.
Yeah, it's fascinating, but also I guess gets really sad because they think they're like really talking to like an audience or to people. And
but
it's
there's
like,
TikTok stars.
There's TikTok stars now that are basically like tweens, I feel like. And it makes me a little uncomfortable the same way like child actors make me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's still time. I say this now and we cut to 2021 and I'm the biggest thing that's ever hit TikTok. So we'll see.
I think you could do it. I think you could do it.
I'm just, that's my 401k is TikTok. That's what I'm waiting for YouTube to really fuck it up. And so I can make an actual move, a lateral move. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I got to know, you're a House Hunters fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all of that when we get back with more Not Too Deep.
Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
It's that time to turn your dream into a reality with Squarespace. They make it easier than ever to launch your passion project. Do you want to start a new business, showcase your work, publish content, sell products, or more? Squarespace is the tool for you. They have beautiful templates created by world-class designers and the ability to customize just about anything with a few clicks, so you can easily make a beautiful website all by yourself. They also have a powerful e-commerce functionality that lets you sell anything online and analytics that help you grow your site in real time. Everything is optimized for mobile right out of the box, and there's nothing to patch or upgrade ever. Buying domains is simple, and you can get the help you need with their 24/7 award-winning customer support. They empower millions of people, from designers to lawyers, artists to gamers, even restaurants and gyms, to turn great ideas into something real. So head to squarespace.com/grace for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/grace. Offer code GRACE. Okay, you love House Hunters.
Yes, I love all house things.
Okay, you're at HGTV.
I am.
Okay, are you like Chip and Joanna Gaines?
I like them. Are we going to follow them to their new network?
Oh yeah, what's the deal? What are they doing? Are they creating their own network? I feel like they have the power to do that.
No, they literally have started their own network.
Wait, I didn't. That was a joke. They
No,
really
they're that. Come on. You've seen their remodels. Give them a fucking network.
I know that I see all of her products in Target every time I go in there.
No, they've left HGTV.
Wow.
And now they're full on just doing their own thing. They're like producing like episodes and episodes of shows.
I did go to Waco, Texas. 2 years ago or something.
Congrats.
Thank you. And when you drive in, there's just a giant billboard of Chip and Joanna Gaines saying, "Welcome to Waco."
They changed the whole place.
Yeah, it's like they are the czars of Waco, Texas now. It's bonkers to me.
Yeah, I love them. I mean, House Hunters for me was always a thing that was fun, but you know,
Suzanne Wong, rest in peace.
Yes,
yeah, my brother
absolutely.
and I grew up watching it, and we'd always be like, Suzanne Huang. Yeah, love it.
It was so good. And it just feels like I feel like they're shifting gears a little bit with what people want to see and what they do see. I feel like, at least in LA, it was always very frustrating to watch those shows because it's always like, two people were looking for, we're looking for like a 16-bedroom house, 25 bathrooms, 600 pools. Our budget's $25. You're like, I'm going to kill myself.
I know. I like to watch the House Hunters International or like the Island Hunters. Have you ever seen that one?
Yes.
People that are shopping for islands. It's beyond my understanding of how TV should work.
It's so insane. I also don't know. I mean, I'm so jealous. Talk about like being jealous of like social media stuff. I'm jealous of like the island hunters. Are those people who are just like, we're gonna leave Idaho and go to Switzerland? I'm like, how? I can't even go to Los Feliz.
I know. I'm nervous for you guys in this transition. I don't think you're gonna thrive there.
No, I think it's like, no, I really think leaving our 5-acre farm to be in a studio apartment in Switzerland with our 9 kids is gonna make our life easier. They're like, no.
This is a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I also just love imagining because, I watch so much reality TV and all that junk that have an understanding of like the formula and the producing side of it and how it works. And just knowing that they're clearly fed lines to say to each other in like candid moments is my favorite part of it. That they're like, well, house number 2 had that balcony, but it didn't have a garage. And it's just like cutting back and forth like a scripted scene. And it's so cringeworthy and wonderful.
Oh my God. I did an HGTV like pilot that didn't get picked up, but it was basically like, I'm so into it. So I was like, yeah, I want to do the house show. But then I realized like it's still making a show. Yeah. Like I just want to walk around and be like, oh, I like this bathroom. Oh, I don't like this backyard. But then when I did the show, they're like, okay, and enter and action. I'm like, oh, fuck. I was like, this is the whole thing.
That there's production to this.
There's a whole production. And you're right. It's like they have to produce the guests. They have to get them excited. They have to talk to them about their things.
Oh, it's
and
great.
even like the guests that you even like cast, they're still like, I think that the windows. I'm like, dude, come on.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, one guy was like, "I'm a door guy." This was on this. This was the show that I was doing, and he was like, "I'm a door guy," and I was like, "What?
What does that mean?"
He was like, "I just care about the doors the most." I was like, "No, no one does." It was insane.
He's got a niche.
So I guess I'm not surprised that they didn't pick up the show up of me screaming at people.
See, I would watch that show of you just kind of bullying people into why they shouldn't like what they like about homes.
Exactly.
And what's the show with the guy that ran into the woods with a shotgun that was the host and they broke up?
Oh, of course.
Tarek?
Love it or Tarek.
Tarek.
Yeah.
That was the whole drama. Now she's got a new show.
Yeah,
Christina on the Coast or something.
Yeah. How are we not thinking of the name? It's
what is their show?
Come on.
Tarek.
I used to do a joke
HGTV.
about it. What is it called? Come on.
Flip or Flop.
Flip or Flop. How do we forget that? Yeah, Flip or Flop. And I think,
he was always so intense on that show that when all those stories came to light, I was like,
yeah, get it.
Yeah.
But HGTV was like, you know what? He needs his own show.
They're still under contract,
so
let's
fine.
get 2 shows out of this.
There we go.
Her getting her life back together and also looking for a home.
What else do you need?
I don't know. Okay, we got to go back to your MTV days.
Let's do it. Your Face or Mine.
Yeah. What is this show?
Okay,
so you were an MTV host.
I was an MTV host for like 5 years. I hosted MTV show called Your Face or Mine, 2004.
Okay.
I wore different glasses on every episode. My hair was super spiky.
For on purpose, you wore different glasses?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very 2004.
This was like the height of my Naca shows.
You were really feeling yourself at this moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was called Your Face or Mine, and we gave away iPods if
Cool.
you won, and it was essentially Hot or Not, and it was a format owned by Fremantle, who produces American Idol, and it was a big show in the UK.
Yeah, I thought it was a British show.
It was
first.
a British show hosted by Jimmy Carr, super funny comic. So they brought it here, and then I hosted it, and it was basically I bring out someone, I bring out you and your boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, boyfriend, do you love Grace? Yeah, I love her. Do you think she's pretty? Oh, she's so pretty. Do you think she's prettier than this girl? Show a picture.
Oh my God, that's how it works.
Yeah, and he would be like, you know what? No, she's prettier than Grace. And I go, okay, audience, vote. And then I'd be like, you're an asshole. The audience thinks Grace is prettier. And that was the show. And it was pretty bad, but but it was my first thing, so I was excited. And then we would then there was almost like a Jerry Springer aspect where at one point, like the third round, they'd sit down and I'd be like, do you think Grace is prettier than your ex-girlfriend? And then
so they personalize it,
right? And then he would be like, no, I think no, Grace, she's the best. And I'd be like, okay, well, Cindy, come on out, and what do you think? And then she would come out, and then it'd be like awkward, and that was actually pretty funny. I honestly think the show probably would do way better today with social media.
Yeah,
this was like pre-social media. There was holograms. It was totally crazy.
Yeah, this feels like. I mean, I know there's that Netflix show that's like. Hot or not, or 100% hotter or something like that. There's some show about judging people by their looks only. Yeah. So it feels very in that realm.
Yeah, it was a pretty ridiculous show.
But you seem like you're comfortable with that intense awkwardness.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Like, I would be terrible at that. I'd be like, let's talk it out. You don't have to choose. It's fine.
It was so weird because there was also an audience and they were like, what are we watching? And I was like, what am I hosting? We'll be right back.
Wow. How long did that go for?
We did 24 episodes and we shot it in like 5 days.
Wow.
And then that aired. It was one of those things that was on MTV after TRL.
Oh, yeah.
500 times a day.
Yeah.
And then after that, I hosted this show called The Reality Show. Which was actually a really good format too, which was basically American Idol for people who wanted reality shows.
That wanted their own reality shows.
One of their reality shows. So
wow.
I was the host of that.
Okay.
And that was
like a competition show. Okay.
And there was Andy Dick was the judge.
Perfect.
And I think Bam Margera was a judge.
God, this is so 2004, 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I
wow.
think Trishelle from Real World was a judge. It was like...
Wow. Wait, Real World like Vegas or something?
Yes.
I don't know how I pulled that out of my Rolodex in my brain. That's nuts.
Yeah. So it was basically that. And that show was just... that was not a great show.
Wow. But it must have been, a profound experience.
It was a profound experience.
Did anyone actually get a reality show made after that?
I think this one Italian kid from Staten Island who was funny. He had like a grandpa who sold bread out of his truck. I think he had a reality show for some time.
That's great.
And then after that, I hosted the worst show, which was called Pretty Dumb, I think, which was like a spring break show. So I was just sort of in the folds for MTV for a few
you
years.
And Jesse Camp just holding it down for MTV.
Pretty much. It was just us.
Wow. That must have been quite an experience.
It really was. And I remember talking to Damien Fahey because he was hosting TRL when Your Face or Mine was on.
Oh, yeah.
And he said they used to always talk about how fucking mean that show was.
It's so degrading.
It was so mean. It was like, you can't do that show.
Singled out, at least left some room.
Yeah.
There was many people competing on that show. But
this show was just like, you're ugly. Here's an iPod.
Is there a reality show currently that you would go on?
Oh, I mean, I want to go on the ship show.
Oh, Below Deck?
Below Deck.
I love Below Deck.
I love Below Deck. I don't know what I do on that show because I'm married and everyone has just constant sex and fights. But I just kind of want to be around and hang out.
I feel like you and your family could be the charter guests.
Oh my God.
I feel like you could make that happen.
Yeah, Below Deck, my family, that would be the funniest thing ever.
No, I watch that show and I do sometimes fantasize in the voyeuristic way of if the internet really goes south, I guess I could work on a yacht, even though I'm wildly claustrophobic and don't like interacting with people.
No, I wanted to go on that show because it is so ridiculous. But I went on a Disney cruise this summer and it was the longest time of my life. I can't do both. How was that? It was hard. I was just it's like going to Disneyland, but there's no rides.
And you can't leave.
And it's very wavy.
Yeah. Wait, is it the one where the characters show up and everyone's there? So your kids must have had a great time.
Yeah, but
did your kids go with you?
Yeah,
okay.
But my kids always have a good time. They're kids.
Yeah, true.
But it was just hard for me to be on a boat. It's very rocky and wavy.
When I was younger, the one trip that my mom and stepdad took me and my brothers on was a big red boat Disney cruise, and we learned immediately that my mom gets seasick because they sit you at tables with other families to eat dinner so they can fill the 10-seat tables. And at one point, this dad from this other family just looked at my stepdad and was like, "Sir, your wife is," and we looked over and my mom was just in the hallway on the ground clutching a banister.
No, the worst is looking out the window on a cruise because you just see it fly by. No, I was just basically crushing Dramamine and Xanax the whole trip. It was 7 days. I barely remember Alaska.
Yeah, the parent survival kit for
the weirdest adults that you'll ever see.
Yeah. How long did you go on it for?
It was 7 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Wow. I mean, kudos to you. A cruise is a big commitment.
It really is.
Would you do it again?
No.
Okay. Full endorsement. Okay, I heard you you are an extrovert. You love strangers.
Yeah.
To the point that you even give your phone number to strangers on planes and things like that.
Yes.
Have you had any crazy follow-up stories of how many people do you keep in contact with on a regular basis?
Well, I've basically
Because this is so foreign to me. I'm very introverted.
Yeah.
So to hear that you just like willingly are just like completely open with complete strangers, I'm like, how? How does that work?
It was definitely more like in the time of my life when I was traveling so much. I was on planes all the time, and I would just like talk to people and have interesting conversations.
Yeah.
And the one person who I really wanted to stay in touch with was I sat next to the CEO of American Eagle, which is like, the American Airlines small planes.
Okay. Oh no, not the clothing brand.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, go on.
I was like, cool, man.
You get those cool faded torn jeans for 20% off.
That was all I wanted.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this guy will be my best friend. And I emailed him because I always would meet people on planes and then get their email and just email back and forth.
Yeah.
For a while, I was talking with some guy who was like in like, I don't know, he didn't work at Sirius, but he was like in like the radio industry, and we'd like email back and forth about like music, which was weird. I met a graphic designer one time who like I then met in the parking lot, and he then at Coffee Bean and talked about, then he designed my website. I guess me in the parking lot was a weird thing to say.
Yeah,
but
I was like, did you plan the meeting or did you just happen upon each other in the parking lot?
I met him, and then so I got a website one time.
Nice,
I talked to some guy about radio one time. I met a musician. I don't know, just a trainer.
Yeah, so you are socially networking without social media.
Exactly.
You're doing it in real life.
In person, I walk up to people and I say, I like what you're doing. Let's connect.
Follow me on LinkedIn, please. Okay, so you've been in a ton of writers' rooms.
Yes.
What is a piece of advice that you would give to aspiring writers that don't really know what that environment is like, I guess?
You don't need to talk that much.
Really?
Is really the key, I feel like. A lot of times people, like younger writers, are nervous, and everyone, no matter what level they are, from executive producer, staff writer on a sitcom, everyone always pretty much thinks like, oh, did I say something stupid?
Yeah.
Am I saying the right thing?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times people feel like they need to talk, because they want to like talk and pitch. And I think like that's sort of like the worst thing you could do is pitch a lot and not score, and you're more likely to probably think more. It's just like kind of advice you'd get sort of like as like a young kid, like think before you speak. So I think a lot of people don't need to do that much to succeed in a writer's room, but I think overdoing it will hurt you more.
Yeah, no, listening, I think, is probably a big skill. I
remember the first time I was in a sitcom writer's room was on Whitney, and there was this showrunner, Betsy Thomas, who, and I was friends with Whitney, that's why I was on the show, and I was pretty comfortable, and I was like, one of the only comics for the first season, so I was I was sort of, being a comedian and then transitioning into writing, it's like a different sort of vibe, because I'm so used to like just talking and yelling jokes and like not worrying about bombing, really.
Right, because you're kind of workshopping like in an auditory way, like you're verbally working through some stuff.
Yeah, so I'm like not that nervous around a writer's room because I've bombed in Kuka College. So no matter what happens, nothing is going to be worse than Kuka College, like in 2005.
It's all about perspective, yeah.
So, but I remember Betsy was like, "Hey, so just wanted to tell you, don't pitch so much."
Well, that's like,
and I was like, okay, and I sort of took that advice and I sort of carried that through.
That's great, yeah, because I think people assume that they have to bring stuff to the table all the time to show their value or their worth in a situation. Yeah,
and it's also, it's difficult, those writers' rooms. It's like you have people who've been doing this for like 25 years in these rooms. You have people who've like heard every story or thought of the joke or aren't thinking about the joke right now, or like, so it's just, there's so many different things going on that, that you're not focused on, because everyone's always focused about like what's going on in their head. Right.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people lately about like imposter syndrome that like rears up for people constantly, and just it's kind of like satisfying in some way to hear that so many people like have those thoughts float through their head of like, I don't deserve to be here, so I need to prove my worth in so many ways, and it might come across opposite of how you intend for it to come across.
Exactly.
So cool. I think that's really great advice. Also, did you got bit by a spider in the writer's room?
I did.
Yeah. What is this story?
Well, no, not in the writer's room.
Okay.
I believe this was when I was working on the John Mulaney sitcom.
Okay.
I've been bit by 2 spiders.
Go on.
Well, I had a Black Widow problem. I found out.
Wow.
Here's the thing.
Not the Scarlett Johansson kind.
No.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about me and my body is I am very in tune with my body. So
Humble brag. Okay.
Humble brag. So if something is off,
Yeah.
I immediately know. And people think of that as like a hypochondriac, but like I'm not because I'm always right.
You're just aware.
Yeah. For example, right now I've had shoulder pain for like months.
Okay.
And everyone, like the writer's room, was like, "Oh, you're distressed, whatever. You don't know what's going on." I was like, "No, I'm telling you, like I'm in more pain." My wife's like, "Just stop, just like go to sleep." I'm like, "No." And then I went to the doctor finally when I had like my schedule free, and the doctor's like, "You have frozen shoulder," and I was like,
That's a thing?
"It's a thing. It's mostly found in elderly women with diabetes, but I have it."
You're the special case.
I have the frozen shoulder, but it's a real thing. And
What do
it's
you do for that?
Physical therapy.
Wow. So do you get it because you're writing or because your body is like leaning on tables or laptops or things?
They don't know it is a medical mystery.
You're a medical anomaly? Okay, yeah.
So it kind of basically, it's like a tightening of the shoulder capsule. Mm-hmm. So for example,
So you can only raise your arms.
Oh, I'm actually doing pretty good right now.
Yeah, that looks pretty impressive.
Grace, did you heal me?
I don't know. You look like you're on a roller coaster right now. But your like range of motion is limited.
Yes, my range of motion is limited, exactly.
Yeah.
So but anyway, so I had like a little mark on my neck, and I was like, I think that I was bit by a spider. I was like, "You don't know what you're talking about." And I was like, "I'm telling you, like something is off." So then I had my wife like circle it because that's what you do with spider bite to see if it would track.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Like circle it with like a marker?
A little pen marker, yeah.
Oh.
And then I was like, okay, I got a little pen. I'll see if it tracks. And then like a couple hours later, it did go up my neck. And I was like, I've been bit by a black widow. It's poison. So I had to I have a wife called poison control.
Whoa.
Because like you're supposed to. And then I was right. Everyone was making fun of me. And then I had giant spider bite that was like up and down my neck.
Oh, God. What do you do for that?
Antibiotics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. But kudos to you for like knowing how to like Boy Scout handle that.
Yeah.
To be like, draw a the on my neck.
Yeah.
Real
Thank
quick.
you.
Wow.
Thank you for understanding.
But this has happened more than once. It's the real
Grace.
get. Yeah.
Spiders like my delicious skin.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
That one broke down the glass ceiling for the other spiders to get in on it. Good for them. And so, wow, that's very funny. Because I'm sure a lot of people see it as like a neuroses that you're in tune with how your body reacts to things.
Yeah, I just think my body happens to have a lot of things that happen. So I just know about it.
Do you do any like woo-woo, LA, yoga, meditation, acupuncture, any of that kind of stuff?
I've been meaning to meditate for like 10 years.
Yeah, same.
I'm gonna meditate, I swear, at some point in my life. I really want to meditate.
I have the Headspace app.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I've had it for 3 years, notify me at 10 a.m. every morning that it's time to meditate. And I haven't done it at all, but I know when it's 10 a.m.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's also like that app that says drink water and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
If I read it, I did it.
I did it. It's the same thing.
Okay, we're going to take one last break. When we get back, we have a bunch of Twitter questions for you. So we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Woo!
Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
Today we have support from a company that wants to support you. We're talking about Third Love. Designed with measurements from millions of women, Third Love's bra styles are made to fit your life. They have over 80 bra sizes, but know that only one is the one that matters to you. I have some Third Love products, and I can say from experience, they are supportive, comfortable, absolutely wonderful. It's hands down the most comfortable bra that you'll own. They have straps that don't slip, they have tagless labels, and they have lightweight memory foam cups that mold to your shape. Plus, returns and exchanges are free and easy. In fact, thanks to Third Love's perfect fit promise, every customer has 60 days to wear it, wash it, and put it to the test. And if you don't love it, you can return it, and Third Love will wash it and donate it to a woman in need. Third Love knows there's a perfect bra for everyone, so right now they're offering you guys 15% off your first order order. Go to thirdlove.com/grace now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/grace for 15% off today.
Not too deep.
The biggest risk in life is not taking one, and that's why Knowles, the National Outdoor Leadership School, empowers people to get outside where you can find your purpose, leadership style, and go beyond your comfort zone. Knowles believes in the wilderness and experiential learning. The outdoors is the best classroom in the world. It was founded in 1965. Knowles is the leader in wilderness education, serving over 350,000 students since it opened. Knowles offers adventure expeditions, wilderness medicine clinics, and basic wilderness safety courses. Students can choose from 16 campuses around the world where they embark on extended wilderness adventures ranging from 1 week in duration to a full year. Instructors teach outdoor skills from backpacking to sea kayaking to rock climbing and mountaineering in the world's most spectacular mountain ranges. Knowles is known for its proven leadership curriculum that teaches personal leadership styles, teamwork, and decision-making that can easily be applied to everyday life. Their wilderness education experience can transform lives. And if you want to get started, take advantage of 20% off your next Knowles expedition. Go to knowles.edu/grace. That's Knowles, NOLS.edu/grace. Offer expires February 29th, 2020. Terms and conditions apply. Find your course today. Okay, Dan, before we get into the Twitter questions, I'm going to ask you the two questions I ask every single guest that's on the podcast. And the first is, who, alive or dead, would you most want to throw cold spaghetti at?
Ooh, who, alive or dead, I'd want to throw cold spaghetti at. Okay, alive or dead. Throwing cold spaghetti. Like a prank or like because I'm mad at them? It's
entirely up to you. Whatever your intention is. It can be joyous. It can be mean-spirited. It can be a prank. Whatever you would like.
Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I clarified because that came to you pretty quickly. And what kind of way would this be thrown?
It's like, hey, you're Lincoln!
What are you doing here, man?
And I'd be like, man, this is so crazy. Why you throw spaghetti at my face? But I don't know. I was on a podcast.
Okay, the other question every guest has to answer is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or close call, but you can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases. So mine, for example, is college jogging front lawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta, Okay.
It can be a close call. It can be whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
And there have been people that have not had stories that they can tell, which blows my mind. But
you know what? Okay. Last week.
Oh, okay. It's a fresh story.
24-hour fitness. Jamba Juice.
Wow. Yeah, that, we're all trying to live our healthiest lives in January.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. A lot of stress.
Oh, I bet. Whew, sorry for that fitness. Okay, let's get into these questions. Richard Cummings asked about Curtain Call Inc.
Yes, we already answered that,
Yeah,
Richard.
during summer stock. You guys were the OGs back in the theater camp days. # not even embarrassed.
I'm not even embarrassed. I was Rooster and Annie.
I was going to say, what productions did you do?
We did Annie. We did... Annie was the big one. Oliver. Oliver. What's funny about the Oliver show is that I walked around that auditions being super cocky, being like, just so everyone knows, I'm gonna be Artful Dodger. I don't know why. I was such a very confident. I was a confident theater kid, and they're like, okay. And then I auditioned, and I did not even get cast in the show. Not even a chorus.
Did you work on the crew or anything?
No. I was like, you know what? If you're not gonna take me as the part that I was born to play,
yeah. Would you do theater now?
No.
Those days are behind you.
Those days are behind me.
Okay. Would you write theater?
Oh, yeah. I would write a play.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
And his spaghetti mystery. Live on Broadway.
That sounds like Joseph and the Magical Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
I feel like the show sells itself.
Done.
I want to see what's spaghetti cannons. I'm in. Someone wants to know if you could change your last name to another piece of water infrastructure, what would you change it to? But they're pronouncing it wrong, I guess.
Oh, right.
Levy.
Yeah, it's Levy.
Yeah.
Not Levy. But I guess I would Dan Poole.
Dan, well, yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's a powerful name.
Yeah,
I feel like you could sell cars or like save, people from injustice. Someone wants to know, what tips do you have for organizing and managing writing projects?
Lists. Lots of lists.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to make lists, and I always use red pens.
Red pens.
Red pens.
Do you handwrite things still, or are you more of a laptop-based person?
I write all the scripts on a laptop, but then I will rewrite and sort of proof and stuff with red pens.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So like you're grading your own papers.
Yes.
Very cool.
Terrible. Not funny.
I thought you had potential. And they want to know also, how do you balance the variety of projects in your life and keep yourself on track? Red pens?
Red pens and...
Yeah, how do you balance, because you and your wife work together a lot, right?
Yeah.
And the kids are involved here and there. Like, how do you guys like go offline, for lack of a better word, or like how do you guys log out and like do relaxing like life stuff?
I would love
Or you
to find
don't?
out. We're hanging on by a thread.
But it's got to be nice to be able to collaborate in a professional setting so much.
Honestly, we work so well. It's the first time we've worked together in a writer's room, and it was
that's cool.
It was so great, and we didn't. The hardest part for us was actually just like just being like a couple in a car, because we drive like 40 minutes to get to work, and it'd just be like her telling me I'm a bad driver and me not following ways, and that was the hardest part of working together. Once we were in the room, it was great.
Yeah.
But she sort of also like gets me like. She doesn't like calm me down in sort of situations because it's so high stress all the time. There's always problems. You're always putting out fires. But instead of being like, it's okay, let's do that, she'd be like, that is fucked up. You should go in there right now and tell him. Like, I'm gonna fucking do that.
So she's your hype man.
Yeah, she's my hype man. Probably
only to get you riled up.
Yeah, which I don't think anyone wanted.
Someone wants to know, do you believe in chocolate milk for cereal or only normal milk?
Only normal milk.
Only normal milk.
Yeah.
What's your go-to like guilty pleasure food, let's say?
Guilty pleasure food is Skittles.
Skittles?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm a real candy person, but
not like chocolate?
No.
Oh.
I like Sour Power, Skittles, Warheads, lollipops, but
okay.
I ate so much candy when I was a kid that as an adult, I spent so much money fixing my teeth.
Really?
That I had to stop with all candy, like tooth implants, root canals.
Wow.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Do your kids get candy?
They do, but they know that all my teeth are fake, so they can't. They got to stop soon. But on Halloween, I'm really like...
You're a cautionary tale for them, yeah.
But on Halloween, I always just fucking fall off the wagon so hard. Every house, I'm like, oh, God. And I'm like shaking at the end of the night.
And they're like, Dad's a monster.
Yeah.
Do you guys do like family costumes for Halloween?
Yeah, well, now they're getting a little bit older, so we had to sort of break off. Like this year, we were milk and cookies, and then my kids were like a Spider-Man and something else.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, they're too cool to be asssoated with a
now
family costume.
Get away from us. We're like, come on, we were crayons last year. They're like, not this year.
Guys, so many memes. Someone wants to know, what's a moment that makes you proud to be a dad?
Oh, I guess the most proud, I guess, as a parent is when another parent or like a teacher tells you how great your kid is. Like when they're like, he's so polite, or he's such a good listener. You're like, oh, that's so nice, because at home he just screamed at me and said he wants to do daddy.
He's a little bitch at home.
But that is the best.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that you're like, thank God. Phew, I can let them into the real world. And also they want to know, who is a person who has deeply influenced your life?
A person who's deeply influenced my life? Oh, probably Laurie Guzda, who started Curtain Call Inc. Because she was the one who started improv when I was, 9. So that's why I started doing it. Yeah.
Very cool. And she was a huge fan of this podcast, so she'll love the mention.
Yes.
Nada has a very important question. Is the purple dick stain still on your driveway?
Good news, everyone. The purple dick stain is off.
Can we hear the context of this question?
So basically, there was a marker on my driveway, a purple marker, because I have kids, and that's what kind of happens when you have kids.
Sure.
Left it out. I drove up the driveway, and the marker exploded. I was like, oh, that's bad. I drove off the driveway later, moved the marker, and then there was a purple stain on my driveway that looked exactly like a purple dick, like full-on dick. And it was crazy, and I documented it and kept trying to get it off the driveway, and it just wouldn't stop. People became obsessed with the purple dick. I was getting all sorts of, power wash, it didn't work. Like every version, and that purple dick is still there.
It's still there?
It's still there.
Wow. I hope it becomes part of like the celebrity tours.
It will,
out
yes,
here in
exactly. Yeah. And as we head into the valley, look to your left and you'll see the purple dick.
The infamous purple dick. Kara wants to know, can you describe your friendship with Mulaney in 3 words or 3 small phrases? How long have you guys known each other?
For a very long time. So, like early 2000s, we met doing comedy.
Okay.
We talk on the phone like 14-year-old girls.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
And that's how you describe your friendship?
I would say like we're old Jewish men who communicate like 14-year-old girls, but in the 90s, because it's like very long phone conversations.
Yeah. Do you guys have like long-winded text threads?
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I feel like you could print those out and make like a coffee table book of it.
I got to take advantage of it.
Someone says, ask what he thinks Harry Styles would look like without his hair.
Terrible. He's got such great hair, that guy.
I know. I feel like he's 90% his hair.
Yes.
What's your go-to music?
Pop punk.
Pop punk?
Green Day, Rancid, Operation Ivy,
Avril
Bad Religion.
Lavigne.
I'll listen to Avril Lavigne.
Get her in there.
Eve 6. I went to Eve 6. I saw the last, put it this way, the last 2 concerts I saw live, Eve 6 and Saves the Day.
Wow. Yeah. You are living in a certain era.
I really am.
Okay, someone wants to know, which movie would you like to unwatch so you could feel the joy of watching it again for the first time?
Home Alone.
Home Alone?
Yeah.
I just watched that. I mean, I've watched it before, but it's been years, and I watched it right around Christmas. And
it's a perfect movie.
I also watched the making of Home Alone. It was great.
It's great. Home Alone 2, though.
I haven't seen that one.
What? Don't see it. I watched it this year.
You said what? As if I should see it, and then immediately don't
you should see it. But then I saw it, and I was like, "This isn't a good movie."
Well, my boyfriend and I did start watching it, and I was a little high, and I just kept screaming, "It's just bad parenting now!" Like,
yeah. You can never make that movie now. That movie would be 1 minute long now. It'd be like, "Where are my parents?" Text them. Fuck. End of movie. Real credits.
Find my phone. There they are. They're at the airport. Okay, we're getting to the end of the podcast. I just want to know what's coming up. Like, what's next? What are projects that might be in the works that you can talk about? Obviously, the show. The show
comes out February 6th. That's the main thing. I'm going to be performing live stand-up the next couple of months. I do a show called Open House. I did last time I did was Largo a few months ago, which is basically me and a bunch of comedians look at listings on Reddit and Zillow and make fun houses.
Oh, that's such a great idea.
So it's a very fun show. I was busy with making a sitcom, but now once that's all wrapped up, I'm gonna do that again in LA.
Great idea.
It'll be on my Instagram and
also your triumphant return to Twitter.
Yes, I'm coming back to Twitter in a big way with long, angry political tweets.
Yes, it's the one thing missing from Twitter. Okay, Dan, before we wrap up, every guest that's on the podcast gets a personalized fortune cookie from us to them. So that is for you from us. It's, I think, in there somewhere.
Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. Opening it up. Here we go. We know you know the truth about Avril Lavigne and her replacement, Melissa. Stop dodging calls. Just tell us like it is.
Yeah.
Oh!
I feel like you're in that, you live in that era.
I do. Thank you so much for knowing me so well.
I feel you hold all the secrets. Dan, where can people find you, the show, everything you're up to if they don't know already, and to make sure that they don't get you confused with the other gaggle of Dan Levy's and Levy's?
Yes. I am at Dan Levy Show on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm at Dan Levy at Twitter.
Okay.
The show is called Indebted. It's on NBC February 6th. There's an at Indebted fan page. I would also just go on Fran Drescher and Jesse Hodges and Abby Elliott and Adam Pally and everyone's Instagrams and just watch the show.
Sweet.
Do it.
Thank you so much for being here. This was so fun.
Thank you for having me. I love this podcast.
Yeah, go check out the show, guys, and go follow him and, really hound him for those tweets that we've been missing for years, months, weeks, days, all of it. We'll see you guys next time on Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Bye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated, producer Melissa D. Montz, edited by Shireen Lani Yunus, post-production sound by Chris Henry, and an extra special thanks to Flula for the theme music.